So today I'm going to be giving you my top 5 tips on how to improve. I'm going to leave out Sumigo because I feel like that's just at the top of everyone's list. So it's kind of boring to mention. But my number one tip is to play lots of games in the right way. If you just study all the time and you don't play, you kind of just lose everything that you just studied. So my tip is study something small and then try to make that small thing happen in your games over and over until you get it right. And you just have to not care about if you win or lose. And tip number 2, play stronger opponents. I recommend playing 3 to 4 ranks higher than yours. And a easy way to get consistent games like this is to just create another account on Fox or Taijin and just set the rank 3 to 4 higher than your rank. It might be a bit controversial. Some people might not like that, but I feel like it's a great way to improve because you get to play stronger opponents that aren't too strong, so you can learn a lot from it. But you don't want to just play stronger opponents. You want to also play people at your own rank. So I would suggest alternating between playing the stronger opponents and people at your rank. Because what happens a lot of times is people play only stronger opponents, and then they don't really know how to beat people at the rank they were at. So they feel like they get stronger, but then they play people at a lower rank, but they lose to them because they never learned how to beat that rank. So it's important to do both. And number 3, I feel like I'm going to get a lot of comments about this one, but it's don't review with AI. I feel like AI is just a little bit too complicated until like you're really high ranked. Like even I struggle sometimes to figure out what AI is trying to say, what the move that it's talking about, why that's good, why it's bad, or stuff like that. So I feel like, especially if you're under Don, reviewing with AI, I think is more harmful than helpful. So I feel like you should instead be reviewing it yourself or with a stronger opponent. Okay, so this kind of leads into the next one, number 4, review all your games. I also see a lot of people play too many games. They'll play like 20, 30 games a day without reviewing a single game. And if you do this, you don't really learn anything. You're kind of just playing moves and you're reinforcing bad habits. It just feels like you're going to end up like on one of those Fox accounts that has 40,000 games and they're still like 10Q. So I would recommend reviewing all of your games, win or loss. I feel like you can learn from both. And just get into the habit of being able to explain why you lost a game, why you won a game, what were like the top 3 biggest mistakes. And if you still have questions after that, you can always ask a stronger player. Preferably not too strong, because I feel like if it's too much of a difference, you can't quite use what they're explaining unless they're good at teaching and they know how to teach at a lower level. My last tip, make a study group. I feel like on KGS, you used to see people playing games, talking about their games. You would see people, just in a random game on KGS, just talking about the game for hours. I feel like you don't really see that anymore. And I feel like that's something that we should really try to bring back. I feel like learning how to discuss games and be able to explain your moves in words is very important. So I feel like if you can do that, then you really understand what you're doing and you're not just playing random moves because you have a thought behind them and you can explain them. But what I see nowadays a lot of times is no one even asks to review a game. Or if they do, they're like, well, let's load it into an AI, see what it says. And then they never actually end up discussing the game. They just, over and over, they're like, okay, well, AI says do this. Just over and over, they say AI says do this. And they never actually even discuss why AI says that. They're just like, oh, okay, well, AI says do this, that must be right. And then they just move on. They don't actually discuss and try and improve the way they're thinking or even think at all. They're kind of just mindlessly playing. This was something new I wanted to try, and I hope you found it interesting and helpful. And of course, I'd like to thank my Patreons. I appreciate it a lot. Thank you all for watching.